You ever wonder what it's like to live in a house that occasionally tries to sabotage you at 60 miles an hour? Have you ever found yourself ready to enjoy a peaceful weekend only to find out that your roof's leaking, your fridge is turned into a sauna, and your spouse is ready to trade the RV for a tent and a divorce lawyer? Well, buckle up. Today we're diving into the top 7 RV problems every single owner's going to face, and I'll give you my questionable advice on how to handle them. Welcome back to the Camping Loop. Well, if you're thinking about, or maybe you already have bought that RV, first off, congratulations. You just made a decision that's probably going to affect your life in ways you didn't even think possible. You probably thought it's going to be all sunsets, campfires, and living your best life, right? Well, not so fast. Here's the truth about RV life. It's like having a house that's also a malfunctioning car, but with more smells. Well, no need to worry. I'm here to help you out, because we're an RV community that must stick together, even if we're panicking in the middle of nowhere with a broken water pipe. Let's start with the classic, the absolute highlight of RV ownership, getting a flat tire or having a blowout. Doesn't matter if you have a brand new rig, or if you bought one from a guy named Shady Pete at Walmart. Flat tires is part of the deal. Most RVs don't come with high quality tires. They're like the free gift you get when you start a gym membership. They're basically, let's just get them home tires. You know, the ones the factory gets for the cheapest that make you think you're ready for the open road. If you're making long or frequent trips, I recommend upgrading these immediately. And be prepared, some RVs don't even come with a spare. Why would you need one of those, right? It's not like you're stuck out in the middle of the woods with no cell service and the closest tow truck 50 miles away. And what about a jack or the right size tire iron? The tow vehicle probably doesn't have the same size lug nuts, and the jack is certainly not meant for lifting up the RV, though it'll work in a pinch with some blocks. Anyway, moral of the story here, it's not about if you get a flat tire, it's more like when. And you don't want to be stuck on the side of the road with a bunch of swearing. Second problem you're going to run into if you own an RV? Plumbing issues. You ever think about how a regular house gets a little plumbing leak? That's normal. No big deal, right? You fix a little pipe and you move on. But in an RV, a plumbing leak, it's like a bad Tinder date. It seems harmless at first, but it quickly spirals into something you can't get away from. And now you're stuck with water everywhere. In an RV, everything's packed so tight that you're just one small drip away from turning the underbelly into a swimming pool. And when I say underbelly, I mean where all the electrical, the plumbing, and mechanical stuff is jammed in down below in this tight little space that looks like somebody designed it that failed geometry, but still had a lot of confidence. And here's the kicker, they got moisture sensors down there, which sound great, right? You're thinking, oh cool, I got a high-tech alarm system down there telling me when something's wet. But in reality, it's like your RV is just sending you passive-aggressive text messages, like, hey, we got some moisture down here, good luck finding it, sucker. Now, if you find a leak in your RV, obviously the first thing you got to do is turn off the water supply, and you're probably already down on your hands and knees, crawling around like a lost puppy, trying to figure out why your bathroom's full of water. You got a flashlight in one hand, shining it around all over like you're trying to find a lost contact lens in the dark. And when you can't find it, you got to call the pros. When the RV guy shows up, they don't even sigh, and you just know it's going to be expensive. They're not even mad, and you're disappointed you didn't catch it sooner. Usually they go in there, spend about 5 minutes, and peek their head back up like they just discovered the lost city of Atlantis. Yeah, this is going to be pretty expensive, they say. And at this point you're thinking, well, I didn't sign up to buy a boat, but here we are. In an RV, a small leak is the first domino in a chain reaction, which ends up with it floating around like a luxury resort. So don't wait. Fix that leak fast before you end up with a vacation like you're on the Titanic. And trust me, nobody likes that kind of water. Third problem you're going to encounter if you own an RV, storage tank issues. You ever been camping before and thought to yourself, you know what would make this trip more memorable? Some toilet issues. So here's the deal. Every time you go to dump the tanks, you got to make sure you're flushing them out really good. And make sure there's enough water in there floating around so stuff doesn't stick. Otherwise, you're one bad taco away from a full-blown crisis. And your pipes are going to start to back up. It's like when you try to flush your problems down the toilet. Not going to work. And the sensors in the tank, they're supposed to let you know when it's full, right? Wrong. They're like that one friend you ask for a ride that shows up 3 hours late with a drink in their hand and no apologies. A month or two into ownership, those sensors are probably going to stop working, and you're going to be driving along thinking everything's fine, you know, because it says it's empty, except you're pretty sure you smelled something funny for the last 10 miles. Anyway, little RV wisdom for you here. Don't ignore the tanks, and definitely don't trust those sensors unless you want a surprise shower. Number 4 problem on the list, your RV battery. Now, your RV batteries, much like your will to exercise after a Thanksgiving dinner, are eventually going to give up. But if you take care of them, they're going to last you a whole lot longer, unlike that houseplant you forgot to water for 3 weeks in a row. Speaking of water, if your battery's the kind that needs some topping off, don't let it go dry. Dry battery is basically just a heavy paperweight, so check the water level regularly. And if you're storing your camper away for a while, remember your battery's going to slowly lose its charge, like your enthusiasm for a do-it-yourself project halfway through. Now to keep them from going into a coma, hook up a trickle charger or a solar charger. Basically give them a spa day while they're taking a nap. And if your battery starts making noises like it's trying to summon demons, or they won't hold the charge no matter how many times you beg, it's time to recycle them. There's nothing worse than setting up your whole campsite only to realize that your battery's deader than your last New Year's resolution. So do yourself a favor and check those batteries before you hit the road. Nothing ruins the camping vibe quicker than realizing your lights, your phone charger, and your fridge are basically powered by hopes and dreams. Number 5 issue that's probably going to fail you at some point, your RV slide out. You know how you can magically push a button and the living room grows by 3 feet? It's like RV puberty. Let me tell you something. RV slides are divas. They're temperamental, they act up at the worst time possible, kind of like a toddler in Target. They love to break when you're on vacation, or when you're trying to leave the campground at 6 a.m. and your neighbors are watching you like it's the last episode of RV Rescue. If you use your RV a lot, or even worse, leave it in storage for a year and forget about it like your gym membership, your slides are going to get cranky. You got to maintain them, like the factory says to. Or the guy named Gary at the RV shop who smells like WD-40 and knows way too much about squirrels. Remember, your RV's got to be level before you start moving the slides in and out. If not, you're going to start twisting the gears around like they're auditioning for So You Think You Can Dance. And the kicker here, of course, is you can't tow your RV down the road with your slide out, so now we're stuck in a rectangle box that looks like it's Optimus Prime halfway through its transformation. Don't worry, your RV, if it has a slide, has a manual crank, and nothing says adventure more like crawling underneath there in the rain at 7 a.m. trying to put this thing back in. Number 6 on the list, RV roof problems. Owning an RV is like being in a relationship with somebody who's constantly trying to pee on your head. As far as RV roof leaks, it's not maybe, it's when. It's like your weird uncle at Christmas. Somehow, some way, he's going to drip something on you didn't ask for. And leaks don't show up at convenient places, edges, seams, middle of the roof, anywhere it seems that it's going to be vaguely expensive to fix. People always ask me, how often should I be working on my RV roof? And the answer to that is the same as how often should you text your girlfriend back? Constantly, or you're going to have problems. Now, if you do notice a leak, get it fixed immediately. Don't wait. Water damage in an RV is like a bad rumor. It starts small, spreads fast, and before you know it, the whole living room smells like a gym locker. And mold? Yeah, it's like a bad roommate. Once you let it in, it's never leaving. It spreads through your walls, your floor, your soul, like it's paying rent. And here's the other thing. It's not just the roof you got to worry about. You got to check the corners, the edges, and all the seals all the way around the windows, or you're going to have a nightmare on your hands. Number 7 on the list, window and door issues. Sometimes you get stuck with a lemon of a door that won't shut, slam, or stick unless you hit it with the strength of a WWE wrestler. To avoid turning your peaceful camping trip into a rage-slamming door fest, make sure you're leveling your rig the best you can at every campsite. And if your latches still aren't working the way they should, give them a little tune-up. Some screwdriver and a little persuasion can work wonders. And hey, if you do find yourself repeatedly kicking the door to get it to close, maybe you should take up kickboxing. Just don't be surprised when your neighbors start holding up signs with scores on them, judging your slams. So if you've ever faced any of these RV nightmares, just know you're not alone. We're all out here battling with awnings that don't open, mysterious leaks, or pretending we meant to park that crooked. So hit that like button if your RV's ever betrayed you, and subscribe for more survival tips. And remember, it's not a breakdown, it's just your RV's way of bonding with you through shared trauma. As always, we appreciate you guys watching. We'll catch you in the next one.